E.
Welcome back to Passing Time with Craig. As always, I'm your host, Craig, and today I sat down with Nathan Sobey and Dave Kelly, two racers, drivers of the Standardbred Horse Racing, which is a super awesome event. Happens every Wednesday and Saturday at Century Downs, plus, a lot of other places throughout the world. But we wanted to bring them on, chat with them all about the different events, what it's like being a trainer, and what people should know about this event that happens twice a week here just outside of the city. So I'm excited to chat with them. They're pretty cool guys, and it was nice to hear from them and all the things that go into it. So enjoy my chat with them. All right. Well, Nathan, David, thanks for being here today. Excited to chat with you guys all about Standardbred Racing, Century Downs, everything happening there. Before we really get into it, I think we need to really explain to people who've never seen it before. Nathan, explain what Standardbred Racing is.
Well, most people would think of horse racing as, them the little fellas that ride on top of them. We are actually something completely different. So standardbreds, otherwise known as harness racing, we sit in a cart pulled behind the horse in simple terms. So little different, but competitive nonetheless.
Yeah. And now, I think people know, but Dave, talk to us about the importance of like the horse and the trainer. That's such a huge, important relationship in any kind of race that you do, but in this one in particular, let's talk about that relationship.
So I think, our horses get taken care of as well as any top tier athlete. Like, they have chiropractors, they have dietitians, they have veterinarians that come in, and we're treating them like athletes. Like, they train every day. They get the best nutrition, and because we're hoping that if we do all that as the trainer, we're going to get the best result out of them, and hopefully we get them all to reach their potential.
Yeah, that's pretty important. And I'm assuming both of you kind of have always grown up with horses. Is that the case? Like, Nathan, we'll start with you. Did you always have horses? Did you know you wanted to do racing? When did this all come into play?
No, I was not. I am from, or I guess I should say my family races horses. My mother was around it growing up. My grandfather, they still kind of do it as a hobby, I think. But no, I didn't get into it till I was graduated. And basically I was just desperate for work. I had zero desire to do this whatsoever.
Yeah. And then it just kind of happened. And now, how many years have you been doing this for?
Let's see, I got in when I was 17, took a couple years away, 33 going on 50 years. For, I don't know, Dave's the guy that's good at math, but that's what, 16 years, I guess.
Yeah, wow. And how about you, Dave? Are you the same? Were you always horses? Did you always know you wanted to race?
I was born into it where both sides of my family raced. It's basically like everybody in my family races horses. And I wasn't planning on doing this full time. It was kind of something I loved doing, and it was a hobby, but it was never what I planned for a career. And then I went and did university and kind of took time away, and then it just found me again. And as they say, horse shit never leaves your veins. So it brought me back in, and I've been doing it full time now since 2015, 2016.
Wow. So yeah, so quite a while for both of you guys. So you've seen a lot, you've experienced it. What are some of the challenges of specifically, talking about standardbred racing? What are some of the challenges as trainers and drivers? What are some of the things you find? We'll start with you, Dave.
I think being somebody that's extremely competitive.
Yeah.
The tough part is the fact that you're reliant on the horse. And so you're trying to pass your confidence, your competitiveness onto that horse, where in a lot of other sports, you can go and work harder and you can get better at it yourself, but you kind of rely on that partnership between yourself and the horse. And, it's a working relationship with the horse the whole time. And if they're not feeling it for you, then being a competitive person, it doesn't work out. But if you can get them on your side and doing what you want, then seems like it's mutually beneficial for both.
Nathan, how about you talk about it too?
Well, I'll agree with what Dave said. It's the relationship with the animal, and obviously, your success is determined by their performance, and you can only do so. When Dave and I are catch driving, driving other people's horses, say Dave's driving one of mine or I'm driving one of Dave's, then we're reliant on what Dave did with that animal this week and how Dave's training works, or Dave's reliant on how my training works. You got those aspects of it. And then when it comes to just being a driver, when you have 9 guys on the racetrack, a lot of some guys are better than others. It's our success can be determined by other guys' smart decisions or poor decisions. So it's I don't know.
Well, you mentioned Nathan that driving different horses, riding different horses, like is there just like humans, there's some humans that just can't work together. Like they just butt heads. It just doesn't work. Does that happen where you and this horse just does not but then the next time they're out with this other person and they're just kicking ass, like that must happen a lot, right?
Oh, all the time. There's been plenty of times where I just not getting along with the horse. I'll put Dave up, or one of the other guys that I trust, and just like any sport, you have some guys that are more talented than others. I have never, I have never sit here and touted myself as one of the top drivers. I know that there's guys out there that are better than me, and then when the time comes, and if needed, I will put them down if they're going to get along better with a certain animal.
Yeah. And now, Dave, talk to me about what kind of training goes into it. Like, how do you do this, and how does the horse because you obviously don't want to tire the horse out from training too much, right?
No, it's kind of finding that balance. Like it's like anything in life where you're trying to make sure they're fit. Their lungs got to be healthy, muscled up, and they got to be able to withstand that kind of strain that we put on. But at the same time, you want to make sure that they're basically their energy levels and they're happy and they want to do the work. So it's finding that balance for them where they're physically fit, basically, because we are their personal trainers.
Right.
They're physically fit, but also at the same time, they're still happy. They're still liking their job. Because it's like anybody. If you're burnt out and you're doing things too much, too often, you might think you're getting better at it, but at the same time, you're mentally not engaged as much as you could be.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. So we've talked about kind of the dynamics behind it, but I really want to talk about Century Downs every Wednesday night and Saturday afternoons. You guys are racing, and it's a lot of fun. I've gone a couple times. We kicked off the season at Century Downs at the end of March there, and you're running all summer long. So like every single week, people can find them. There's drink specials on Wednesday night with Get Lucky Lager from Bourne Brewing. There's a bunch of events going on. So we're recording this, spoiler alert to everybody listening, but we're recording this days before there's a big event happening there with the Mental Health Association at Century Downs for the races on Saturday here. So what do you want people to know about this event that you guys can speak to?
You want to go first, Sobey?
Well, so yeah, we, long story short, over the last, I shouldn't say long story short, but our industry, it's 24/7, 365 dealing with animals. They are living, breathing beings.
Right.
So our days are quite long, strenuous. You're never really getting time away. It can be physically demanding, having a shoe, get feed, it's just, it takes its toll. And then, I know horse racing's looked at like the sport of kings, but it's very stressful. So we have had over the past couple of years, we've had a couple of our members take their own lives, and and a lot of other members struggle with mental health issues. So we've teamed up, obviously with May being Mental Health Awareness Month. So anyways, we have teamed up with the Lionheart Foundation to help raise awareness for mental health, try to raise some money for them. And just try to get people talking, the stigma of, sometimes it's just better to, shut up and go about your day. And then, that doesn't work anymore. Mental health has just become so mainstream, and, start trying to get people taking care of themselves rather than sit there, be quiet, realize that it's okay to not be okay. And, it is all right to seek help. So,
Yeah, it's very important.
That's kind of the goal of Saturday's events.
Yeah.
And I think our business it's tough enough as it is, because like Nathan said, it's 24/7, but I think the mental health side of things is a big deal, just because I kind of equate it to baseball a little bit, maybe, where, like, your best quarterback is going to win at 70%, your best NHL player is going to win 60% of his games. Like, for us to be really good, we're winning like 20%. So that means we're losing 80% of the time. So, like, I mean, you've got to come into it with a really positive attitude, where you know that it's not always going to work out, and sometimes it's never going to work out with the way the race goes and everything else. And I mean, some guys get down on that, and I think the biggest thing is we've got to realize that you can go out there and do your job and not win the race and still come back to be, either proud of it or, it's feeling like you have some version of success in that. Because like I say, if we're doing well, if we're winning 20% of the races, and that means we're losing 80%. So it's tough enough day to day on the mental health. So I think it's good to shed some light on that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great thing. And I wanted to bring it up because I just thought it's super important. And I mean, this is the thing I always talk about, like something like mental health, we should be talking about it more. But there's ways we can support things and still, like, have fun and have a good cause. So, like, something like this, where Saturday people can go out for the races. There's gonna be a bunch of fundraisers, and it's all going to help this foundation. But you get to just be out in the sun. That's the best thing about it. You're out there in the sun and you're watching these races. You're having drinks with friends and family. Like, it's a blast. It's a good vibe out there, right? Like, if you're in the audience, how much fun is it? Dave, tell me about the audience and being in the crowd watching.
I'm biased because I'm a big horse guy. So, I mean, I'm the same way with, like, the Stampede. Like, there's nothing more of an adrenaline rush than, for us, it's 9 horses coming on the track and we're doing 50, 60 kilometers an hour, and the sound of the hooves and everything else. And, like, I just think that it's something that you have to experience at least once. And, some people get it and love it. Some people, maybe it's not their thing, but I think the atmosphere at Century, like you said, the drink specials and the events we have going on, Packwood Grand is a big one. Libations Fest is a big one. And there's nothing more exciting for us as drivers too, is when we get people out there, like, you're playing to a crowd then. It's not just an empty room where we're going out and racing, and it's competitive, but it gets the juices flowing a little bit better when, there's lots of people on the fence cheering, and, you hear that coming down the lane. Makes it a lot more exciting.
Yeah, it's just this whole, like, adrenaline that pumps into you. And it's so funny to me because we've mentioned Stampede. It's 10 days and it's a huge event. People are going to the rodeo during the day. They're going to the chucks at night. They love watching this stuff. And then, of course, there's all these smaller rodeos happening throughout Alberta, throughout the North America. And then there's people going like, oh, that's fun. I wish I could see more often. You can every single week, twice a week, go to Century Downs just outside of Calgary and watch this. Like, Nathan, does it surprise you that more people aren't aware of this?
No, like, it doesn't surprise me that they're not aware of it. Obviously, like, I think we've struggled with marketing, but I think now it's, I think once they've experienced it, as yourself, you've now showed up a few times and experienced it, and it's a heck of a time. Like, why wouldn't you want to come sit on a patio and just say on a day like today, 30 degrees outside, sun shining, why wouldn't you want to come sit on a patio, drink some beer, hang out with your buddies, and watch some horses race? Like, the atmosphere is great. Yeah, I think the big thing now is just let people know that we're there, because I haven't had any negative feedback. It's a great afternoon, great evening.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The first time I went was a couple years ago for Libation Fest, and Libation Fest is so much fun. It's one of the best beer fests. It's the best bang for your buck. And again, like it's all proceeds going to an organization as well, and you just get to drink a bunch of alcohol while watching the horses in the sun. It's a great time. Also, for people listening, you can get an Uber from Calgary out to there, and it's not that expensive, and you can get an Uber back. Like, you can do that. So if you want to be responsible because you don't have a DD, like, get an Uber. It's pretty affordable.
Mm.
I mean, that's just my plug because I love drinking and I want an Uber all the time.
I definitely condone that message. Yeah, don't be drinking and driving.
Yeah.
That-
But yeah, and like what's kind of cool is that it's, near Cross Iron, very close to Cross Iron, but it's still kind of you're just watching this and it's just you see the barns, like it's kind of isolated, but it's so close to everything, right, Dave?
Yeah, it's amazing that like a lot of people don't know it's there. Like we're not that far out of the city,
No.
and you talk to a lot of people, and you're like, "Oh, I race horses," and whether they happen to be from like Ontario is kind of the mecca of harness racing. And I met this one person; they were from Ontario, and they're like, "Oh, we don't really see that out here often." I was like, "Well, we're right behind Cross Iron Mills." She's like, "Oh, I go there all the time." I'm like, "Well, how haven't we found a way to match that up? Because it just seems like we're that close, but we're not quite visible enough that where we should be."
Yeah, no, and it's just very baffling because it's so close. Everybody knows where Cross Iron is. They go there all the time. It's right there. Gotta love people. Um, and now not only can you like me as the audience, I'm sitting in the crowd, I can bet on the horses as well, which is super fun. But I want to make it clear for those people listening, you're not just racing for the hell of it. You are, but there's also money on the line, right? Like we're talking some pretty decent dough. Nathan, talk to me about the purses.
Well, on Saturday for the mental health day, we have two races going for just over 50 grand a pop. Uh, yeah, it's when you're winning races, you can get a decent chunk of change. Our first structure is second to only uh Mohawk Park in Ontario, as Dave said, the Mecca harness racing. Yeah, our first structure is only second to them in the country. So yeah, no, it's not like we're just racing for ribbons.
Yeah.
There's there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, and like it also goes towards, I mean, your time and the horses and everything like that. Like it's a nice bonus, but it's not like, well, now I can retire after one race.
No, I wish that was the case. But no, as much as there's a fair chunk of change on the line. This is it's not the cheapest business to operate. Feeding a horse, fueling a horse, the vet work on a horse, paying staff. It's as much as you can make a lot of money, it costs a lot of money to do that. So, like as Dave said, when you're only winning at 20% of the time, if you're lucky, it can be. Some days are better than others. One day chicken, next day feathers, kind of thing.
Yeah. And Dave, do you have to go in kind of with the same mindset, or do you switch it up when you're playing and when you're racing in those races that are for those like big purses, or is it better for you to just kind of just treat like you want to win all of them, but you want to go in even and not insane?
You try to treat it like any other race. I think the biggest thing is everybody's a little bit more competitive when it comes to those. Like, you could possibly we have a couple races this summer for over $100,000 where, you could make as much in one day as you could for almost a whole year for some horses. And so you try to go into it level-headed and with a plan, but everybody's got a plan, and you just kind of adjust accordingly. And whoever can think the fastest on their feet usually ends up being the winner.
Yeah. Well, and how fast are we going here? How fast are we talking, Dave?
We're between 50 and 60 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
You know, the fastest horse we have here is Shark Week. He went his track record setting mile in, what was it, 1:40, a minute and 49. So
49.2 or something? Oh my God.
I think that works out to be around 57 kilometers an hour. So, you know, there's no seatbelts. It's an adrenaline rush. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
People say it's not as fast as NASCAR, but I mean, you're protected by a safety cage and harness and helmets and everything else, where we have a 1,200-pound flight animal that gets to pull us around and sink you back in your seat when they accelerate. So
Yeah. And it's so
definitely a different feeling.
And because it is, we're not, and it's not like NASCAR where we're, running around like a horse isn't doing 100 laps around. It's such a quick thing, and that's just what I love about it is that, okay, race finishes, go to the bathroom, grab your drink, whatever you need to do, and get ready for the next one, because you have no time if it starts and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, it's gonna be gone by the time you get to the bathroom door. Like, it's such an action-packed thing, but you have your downtimes in between. But once it happens, it's go, go, go.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like, I'm a fan before I was doing this for a career, so I like going to races regardless if I'm racing or not.
Okay, now we need to ask for the people listening who are, okay, gung-ho, they're going to check this out, and they want to place some money. What are the keys to doing it? Like, is it just, do you go off of the horse name if you're betting? Like, is that a great way to do it, Nathan?
Well, for a beginner,
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, maybe, watch post parade, kind of look at the program, have a look at Dave. Maybe you like Dave colors. Maybe you think Dave's cute. I don't know. Maybe you like his horse's name. I don't know. Pick something like that if you're a beginner. Who knows? But obviously then you have your experienced guys can read the program inside and out, do quick math. Dave Kelly. You have the guys that can do that and make a ton of money at it. They know, I'll say this, our best drivers know how to read a program just as good as the best gamblers. But yeah, for a beginner, pick something you like, pick something that stands out to you. Hey, that horse looks really good post breeding. Wow, he looks sharp. Like that driver's colors. I like the number 7. Something simple.
Yeah. So let me ask you then, what is it like for you guys when the program is out, you see the stats, the odds and everything like that. Is it something that you early on had to just not deal with, get out of your head, or is it a motivator if you're like the odds are a little low for you? Like, Dave, how do you have to wrap your mind around it?
I do my best to try not to look at it too much early. You can get in your own head trying to play out scenarios and trying to overthink it, where if you just go out and run off of instincts, I find it works a little bit better. But at the same time, like, you have to know what horses you're in against. You have to know their tendencies and what their strengths and weaknesses are. And just as much as you're driving your horse, you're attempting to kind of put other guys in a little bit of an uncomfortable position to kind of expose their strengths or weaknesses. So it's like a chess match. Like, you're doing your best to put your horse in the right spot, while also, it might be beneficial to put another horse in the wrong spot. So it's a challenge. Like, you have your plan A and plan B, and sometimes the guys you're driving against are going to mess up plan A, plan B, and plan C. And you're starting to think, well, you just got to take what the race gives you. And sometimes, especially so for us, not being a standing start like the thoroughbreds, we start behind the starting gate where we're kind of going 50 to 60 kilometers an hour at the start. post position really matters, like where you're at on that gate. So if you've got the one post, you can kind of leave out of there and you get to kind of pick where you're going to end up. Where if you're post 8, you might be at the mercy of everybody else. Like you've got to be looking over and deciding how many guys are going to be leaving hard to get to the lead and whether or not you want to sacrifice your horse to use up all his energy and all his stamina to try to get there, or if you just, like I say, take as a race comes and you work out the trip, whatever it is. And sometimes that doesn't work out, but if you used them hard early, it probably wasn't going to work out either. So it's a balance match, or a balancing act, I guess you should say, where you're just trying to map out the best race for your horse and use his strengths to his advantage.
So Nathan, when you see, what the odds are, is there a lot of smack talk happening, or like are you getting in the minds of your friends as they're about to compete against you?
I piss around and joke around, and we got the odd guy that you can you can kind of poke fun at them and throw them off their game, and then they they suck the rest of the day.
Yeah.
or you just, as much as it's a business, I try to keep it loose, try to have a little bit of fun with it and mess around. And then when things don't go my way, I just blame Dave Kelly. I blame this guy, blame that guy. It's your fault I didn't win this race. Yeah.
Dave, how many times do you get
Dave?
Yeah, how many times do you get blamed, Dave?
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. Usually lots, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Because if I'm getting blamed for somebody else losing, that usually means I'm winning, so that's okay.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a good thing to be blamed for that. You're like, okay, yeah, you lost because I won. That's on me, I guess. I'll take this one, and I'll take this money.
Yeah, that's exactly how that works.
So we do want to mention, because our wonderful friend Tiff will be mad if we don't mention it, that this isn't an old man sport.
Oh, yeah.
Tiff has made it very clear that we're supposed to say this is not an old man sport. You're all young, good-looking dudes. People can't see you in your full outfits when you're already out there. But yeah, it's not an old person sport. Would you say that is a huge thing that's been going on the past few years, is trying to make it realize that like this is something for, people in their 20s and 30s and early 40s? We're not talking 60s and 70-year-olds.
Yeah, I feel like our sport kind of, I don't know, when we left Calgary, when Stampede Park shut down, I think the demographic that knew the racing side of things, they kept with us and everything else, but we didn't build that younger demographic when we were only racing in Edmonton, and now it's trying to build that back up. I think Century's done a great job. The demographic at the track is definitely far younger than it has been, and I think that's kind of a big part of, Born Brewing doing their shuttles, where you can get a beer at the brewery, you get a shuttle to the track, you get a beer at the track, you get a shuttle home. And, that kind of events and stuff like that, libations, Packwood Grand, that brings out the younger crowd and makes people realize, like I say, it's an adrenaline sport. So once people get a taste of it, it's kind of addicting.
Nathan, would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, and then Tiff thinking it's an old man sport. What the hell does she know? Like, I know there's no video here, but Dave might have like 6 hair on his face. Like the kid barely hit puberty here. Like, a man sport, come on. But no, like Dave said, we have these events. We got the patio, sun is shining, drink a beer with the boys, have a time, heckle some drivers. Bet on some horses. Why not? Like, there's no reason why. Like I said, this. I do agree with Dave. That's where we did lose our younger audience when we lost Calgary. That hiatus. And now, but building it back. But like I said, we have all the tools to get the younger generation out and get it back into it. Like I said, it's adrenaline sport. It's like, and I'm out, watch, drink a beer. beer ain't as much as a hockey game. $6.
Yeah.
Feel free to heckle all of us over the fence. We're walking along there. You can chirp.
It's perfect.
Take us.
Yeah. Now, do either of you have like traditions you have to do before every single race? Anything that really like, just those superstitious things that athletes have that like those lucky pair of socks or underwear that you have to wear every single time. Do either of you have that? Nathan, we're going to start with you.
No.
Put the underwear on inside out.
The inside out and backwards. Got to get the fourth day out of them. Yeah. No. No, I just show up, make fun of people, kind of try to hang out, keep it loose, and I don't know. I don't stress. I've calmed down a little bit here in my old age. As Tiff would said, old man's sport.
Yeah.
Freaking hag. What a jerk.
Dave?
I've got nothing. Like I said, I try to keep my mind away from the racing as much as possible until we're in it, and then it's kind of act on instinct. And it's been working out well for me so far, so I don't feel like changing it. So that might be the closest thing to superstition I have.
And
only me, you get Marcia to shine your boots and clean your helmet up, and
yeah, I'm a little spoiled. Not my superstition though.
Yeah. And how many drivers are usually in a race? Is it always the same amount in a race?
Sometimes there's a little less, but for the most part, there's 9 horses in a race, so there's 9 different drivers, and it's not always the same drivers, but we have some guys from BC now, and go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, how many of us is there? I don't know, 15, 16?
I think there's more than that now with the BC guys. I think there's like 18. It's a different dynamic. Like the guys that you drive against all year long, you kind of get to know their tendencies and what they're thinking, and you can kind of get in their own head. And some of the new guys mix things up a little bit. You don't know what their tendencies are. You don't know how they see a race or what they plan to do. So that can cause some grief, but it's all,
That's,
like I say, it's a chess match.
yeah, that's putting it lightly.
So I think that's the other cool thing about this is that you're saying approximately like 18 like drivers. So people can, if they're coming all the time, they're gonna get to know you guys and see how they do, and they may not like get to meet you in person, but they'll notice that be like, all right, Nathan seems to be always like really good for the first half, or always seems to do better in the second half, and starting to know you guys as drivers. Like that's kind of a cool thing. Does that put more pressure on that people might know you guys a little bit better, Dave?
I don't think. I mean, everybody's got their tendencies of how they drive and what they're comfortable with, and I think that if anything, if you're coming all the time and you get out to the races, that helps you if you're gambling and you're betting on us, because you have a little better idea of how that race is going to set up and how it should play out. It doesn't always play out that way, but I don't think it puts pressure on us. I think the biggest thing is sometimes, taking your tendencies and throwing them out the window once in a while, just to change things up and to keep the other 8 drivers guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I guess that's the other thing too, and that's the fun of it, is that you guys are all racing all the time together, so you really have to figure out and see what's going on with this person as you're racing, because we're like, oh, maybe he's off his game today because of whatever thing. So it's a fun. Where's the reality show in this? Why aren't people making a documentary about this?
Don't get started. You don't want to know the half of it.
Okay, as we start to wrap up here, I do want to know what is your guys' favorite horse name that you've ever had or heard? Like, do you have one that sticks in your head? Because there's some great names out there for horses.
I don't know if I have a favorite horse name.
Nathan, do you have any? I don't want to say a favorite, but I got a good one in the barn right now.
Yeah.
That's I got sloppy seconds.
Yeah. And then the horse's name?
Uh,
Thank you.
we call her Tiffany. Oh, she's gonna hear that. I'm gonna get killed.
She's gonna love this podcast. I can't wait. We'll all get that text immediately. I'm not editing any of that out of it, Tiff. Sorry, love you, Tiff. Oh, she's great. She's great. All right, as we start to wrap up here, what do you really want people, like one last pitch to, if people aren't sure about it, they want to check it out, what do you want them to know about the races Wednesday nights and Saturday afternoons at Century Downs? Nathan, we'll start with you.
It's free. Come on out. Take a quick drive in between North Calgary, Airdrie. Lots of parking. Like I said, it's free. You walk through the doors, come on out the back, grab a $6 beer, watch us. It doesn't cost much. You'll love it.
Yeah, Dave?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Like if for a date night, for anything you want to bring somebody out, and it's an atmosphere it's different than what you normally experience anywhere else. So like Nathan said, it's free to come out. You get to come out, grab a cheap beer. There's food there. If you do like gambling, you can gamble. If not, you can just, amongst your friends, you pick a horse and you bet on who's going to streak down the home stretch. Like, whatever you want to do. I think the biggest thing too is like just, these horses are so well taken care of and everything. And I don't know if Century's doing the barn tours or anything, but if you do happen to do one of the barn tours and you get to come back, stop by, say hi, get to meet the horses. I mean, they're part of our family. So, they're the star of the show. We just got to be vocal about it to get everybody out to see them.
Yeah, everybody needs to go check them out. It's such a blast. I love going, watching it. Yeah, it's nice too because it's in the sun, but there's some shady patches as well. So if it gets too hot for you, as it's like currently 5,000 degrees out here in Calgary, like you can find, or chill in the casino, in the restaurant. Like there's places you can be inside and air condition if you want. But it's such a great time, and I want to thank you both for finding time to. I know you guys are very busy racing, training, taking care of the horses, so I appreciate you both finding time to have a little chat with me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so definitely everybody go check it out. Wednesday nights, it starts at like 5 to 9, and then Saturday afternoons 12:45. It's multiple chances. Date night, Saturday afternoon, hang with the friends, and you're all golden. So best of luck to both of you in all this upcoming races, and hopefully you both get some good wins, some good purses, and crush it this season. So good luck to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan and Dave, for being here today and chatting with me. If you have not checked out the Alberta Standardbred Horse Racing, you should definitely do that. You can also follow them on social media to find out all the different racing events that they have. Like I said, every Wednesday and Saturday, we hit it home a lot in this episode. So if you can't recall that, then what's wrong with you? You can check out the races at Century Downs. Get Lucky Lager from Born Brewing is a sponsor, and you can get $6 beers of their stuff at their delicious beer at the tracks there. So you'll want to check that out. It's a lot of fun. And Libation Fest happens Saturday, August 2nd. It is one of my most favorite events. We briefly touched on it. It is a beer fest, a bunch of local breweries, distilleries, wineries, tons of venues out there, and it's just all included with a donation. So tickets will be going on for that soon. Check that out. But in the meantime, follow me on social media at PTW Craig, passing time with Craig, for all the fun ways to pass time. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye.